the information and the advice that she's giving to the president. She has a very long history of just working against U.S. interests on the international scale, and she's an unserious, unfit, terrible candidate for this role, and one that it would be deeply, deeply dangerous.
My final question is, what could Democrats do, or what could people do, because this is not a partisan issue, to get that message out in an effective way? We saw during the campaign, Donald Trump parading people like, I'm not suggesting we do this, his keynote speaker at the Republican National Convention was Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania is going to come for you, and deeply unserious rhetoric that gamified life or death matters. I know people are now Googling, what's a tariff? Are bloody deportations going to be real? What does it mean if we don't help NATO? People are Googling that now? Yeah. Too late. But what is it that you do now in Congress? What do Democrats do as an opposition party, where I see some of your colleagues, some of these Republicans wearing Donald Trump ties with Trump's face on it, and quite literally saying, while wearing Trump's weird gold sneakers, if he tells me to jump, I jump. If he tells me to this, I this. What do we do? Help us. What do we do right now?
Well, a couple things. I think we focus on the reality, for a member of the House of Representatives or for a member of the Senate. Like, I represent about 800,000 people, some of whom elected me, some of whom did not vote for me, but I represent them. I represent their interests. I represent their dreams, their goals, the strength of the community that surrounds them. That's what I represent. And so I think that for people across the country, when looking at representatives, because, if I take a vote or I say something that some of my constituents disagree with, we get phone calls, we get letters. I think that there needs to be a clear understanding that the American people should expect representatives to represent them and not just sort of march in line with the leader of their party or the president of their party. And I say that as someone who has not always marched in line with my own, because I represent my district and I represent the 7th district. And when advocating for what matters to the people in my district, I make that plain. And here, what is deeply worrisome is that every person across the country will be less safe if there is someone like Tulsi Gabbard serving in a role that, frankly, the American people should in your daily life, if you're busy, you got kids, you got a job, who the DNI is should not even be a topic of conversation. It should be, I trust that, we're putting good people who are committed to the U.S. and our national security in these roles. And so what people should do is recognize that there are elements of unique threats here. And this isn't an issue of disliking, in my case, I'm a Democrat, a Republican president's choice. It's not an issue of politics. And so making clear that I don't have to like every nominee he puts forward. And I don't.